Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, talking fishing. If it's facts about fishing that you want to know, then tune in, folks, cause this is the show. We'll show you all the right bait to use, so sit right back, you got nothing to lose. Doesn't really matter if it's trout or carp, flathead, marlin or a gummy shark. Listen to the guys and you can't go wrong. They'll be talking about fishing till the cows come home. Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing.
Welcome everyone to Talking Fishing, a big show coming your way as always, and wow, are things hotting up. Kingfish are being caught up the top end of Western Port. Simon Rinaldi had another double barrel hookup this morning off Portland. The trout streams are starting to fire, and then there is snapper season. We take a look at a reel tonight called the Tranx. Even the name sounds tough. A big snapper talk night is on next Wednesday. All the details shortly, all that and plenty more. So let's get into it with a big welcome to the man who travels by kayak, Adam Ring. Welcome, Ads.
Thanks, Dave. A bit going on.
A little bit going on.
What a week. Did you say Kingfish in Western Port?
Kingfish in Western Port. I won't give away the technique just yet, but you'll see it in about 5 minutes' time. Ooh. Unbelievable.
I'm excited, Trully.
It is an exciting time of the year, and it's always a big welcome and exciting time for the man all the way from Shepparton, Stephen Victor Trelfer. Welcome, Trully.
Oh, thank you very much, Dave.
I just love catching up with you every week. In between, you send me plenty of videos and text messages, but just love catching up every week.
It's your shout next week at the tea time, that's okay.
The things that go on, I can tell you, in between episodes each Tuesday, you could write a book about it every single week, I reckon. Things hotting up in the freshwater scene, Charlie, because we are seriously from barrel tuna at Portland today, Kingfish on Saturday. I'm not sure when the second one was caught up the top end of Western Port. Trout streams are on fire. What about your area?
Yeah, it's a bit like the racehorse with a bit in his mouth and you pull him back on it because we've got the closed season on cod except for Eildon. So, and there's a few people out chasing yellow belly, and the byproduct there's a few cod and there's a few things going on there. Catching plenty of yellows, plenty of redfin. So, yeah, it's happening, but it's not like, I want to get going, but the cod season's, a little bit away.
Is there a time, got the hiccup, sorry, is there a time for trout cod to come on?
I think trout cod are one of those things that they closed the river between the bottom of Lake Mulwala down to Tokemall, and then to Cobram, sorry. Then they extended it because of the number of fish being caught down there, but they are like rats. They are honestly trout cod, and they go all year round. When you say that, they go all year round. They are like rats. You get the rod out, your brim down here, they suck on everything, and and you lose your bait. Trout cod are worse than that. They actually... You'll have a bait this big and you'll catch a trout cod that big. Just,
really? So there's a lot of small
like
ones?
Rats in the Murray River between Cobram and Lake Mulwala.
There you go. Didn't know that. Folks, let's have a look at what's been caught by the people at home. It's time for Catch of the Week.
Catch of the Week, brought to you by Shimano, providing reliable, trustworthy, quality fishing gear for your enjoyment.
And don't worry about all the other things that are happening around the state that are as hot as hot. The snapper are hot. And let's kick it off with a fish from Coronella that came in over the weekend. Nadine Hams, a lovely 8 kilo snapper. Thank you very much. That is a great fish in anyone's language.
Spectacular looking fish again. I know we comment on it every week, but there's not too much better than a snapper when it's all lit up like that with the blue fins and nice red back. That's beautiful fish.
That's a HSP, isn't it? Hams snapper pack.
Well, I guess it is. Another one that was caught. Now, we're over to Port Phillip now, and I would have to say I think Port Phillip is outdoing Western Port. It's switched over again. Well, it's just...
You can't argue with the reports.
You can't argue with the photos that are sent to us.
You can't argue with the reports.
This is, and apologies to a lot of people that, took photos and didn't get them up. But Mark Sheldon, a fantastic fish there, Mark. 7.5 kilos of snapper out of Carrum. That is a fantastic fish as well.
Are there any small fish around?
Wow. Because
this week.
It's either, I guess people don't take photos of small fish they catch. Yeah. There's bound to be one or two, but they're all good.
Yeah, 7.5 kegs.
It's a nice fish, yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. Have a look at this one, Neil McKenzie. He got a lovely 6.7 kilo snapper off Black Rock. Again, a lovely fish. Neil, great contributor to the show, often writes to us in mailbag and so forth.
Yeah,
and,
lovely fish. Look at that.
Well done, Neil,
Long fish.
on that one. Yeah,
I like it.
good colouring. Certainly that northern end has been doing pretty good,
Yep.
Charlie.
Yep. They have
It's,
the
maybe a little bit
Maltese
warmer,
have
although
been trying to keep it quiet, but
Sort of them out.
I think Paul attempted to film a knife fish episode today up that northern end.
Oh, nice.
Don't know how he went, didn't he?
I was going to say attempted. Does that mean he failed?
means went well.
Don't stay tuned for that episode. He'd probably kill me for saying that. Have a look at this one, a 6.2 kilo up that northern end from Altona, young Dean Buttigieg. And Dean, I think, is 8 years old. And what a cracker fish.
I'm jealous, Dean.
Yeah,
I'm very jealous.
Right.
When I was 8 years old, I was getting fish like that. But
I'm 32 and wish I was catching fish like that.
you know, and for the young kids of today that are going out with their old men and
Old men.
or the old man, with the old man,
Fathers and mothers.
yeah, and
Grandfathers.
it could have two fathers if the way this vote's going.
Yeah.
But it's just planting memories for young kids forever at a very young age. And I don't think a lot of kids had that opportunity back in when we were young, or maybe not for you, Adam, but Charlie, when you and I were young.
Oh yeah, I lived on the river, but you're right, because when we do when we had the Gorn Fishing Day the other day, and you guys do the same thing, I know. We get all the kids down there, and we do love to thank the parents, whether they're grandparents or just parents, to get the kids out. It's just so good to see that happening. So we do applaud use guys and girls out there for that.
Absolutely. Let's keep going with the snapper, and I'll tell you what, young Renee Papa, her dad wrote to me, Chris. And Chris said, don't tell my wife. I'm going to read this out because I bet you his wife's... When you write something like this, Chris, you've got to understand that when you say don't tell, that means tell. It says, don't tell my wife, but this was the best day of my life. My daughter Renee is 8 years old. She landed her first ever snapper off Williamstown Tuesday night in 10 metres.
And it's massive.
Anyway, Chris,
no small
your
snapper.
wife, hopefully she just give you a whack in the arm. But it was, as according to you, Chris, the best day of your life. And it's great, as we said, the kids getting to see snapper like that.
Absolutely.
Have a look at another kid, because I tell you what, the kids are on fire this week. Alicia Martinelli got an absolutely stonker of a calamari off Indented Head.
Any calamari that you can hold like a guitar is a big calamari. I love it.
How many kids just hold a calamari?
Yeah, that's right. That's unreal.
It's a pretty good looking fish, and Alicia's looking pretty
Strong
damn
away,
happy
Alicia.
there.
That's it. Good stuff.
Well done, Alicia. That's a crack of a fish, and all three of us are very, very jealous. Let's have a look at the freshwater scene now. And Peter Krell, he got down to the Wimmera River and got a 47 centimetre yellow belly.
Nice.
Amongst some silver perch, he said as well. So
Starting to see a yellow belly report.
Wimmera River is right out the Western Districts, I think, Trelly.
Yeah.
That'd be a stocked fish. I think they stock them down there, don't they?
Yeah, they stock the fish in the Wimmera River. I'm not really familiar with it,
Yeah.
but I do know they stock it. They stock the Wimmera River down there. Yeah. So yeah, but good to see the yellow belly and on the
Reports
bottom.
of some good
just
fishing
getting
down
better
there.
from now on.
Yeah. Murray cod. We've been talking about it, haven't seen a lot of photos, but I think that is about to fire. And boys, Peter Beach left the beach and he went up to Lake Eildon, and near the wall he got a 55 centimetre Murray cod, and that's a beautiful looking specimen.
It is.
I'd be happy with that one. I'd two fillets off that and straight in the fry pan, Charlie. No mucking around with our native
couple of weeks, Dave.
icon.
Right. Actually, it's a thick fish
No, that's
too.
Lake Eildon. You'd be allowed to do that.
Yeah,
Oh
that's
yeah,
right.
I've
Well,
been in
where
a couple of weeks. I'll be doing that with you.
Yes, that's right.
the
Nice
fry
thick
pan.
little Murray cod too, that one.
Yeah. Have a look at this now. I've just got a little note here.
I'm looking forward to hearing
little
this
handwritten
report.
note here. It said that Ollie Weeding. I love his name. Isn't that a lovely name? Charlie, how would he have gone going to primary school at the school you went to? Shepparton there?
Yeah, he would have all right back then when I was going to school, but nowadays, you get
Ollie
all sorts.
Weeding would just be a normal name.
He'd just be Grassman or something, wouldn't he? Yeah, but nowadays he'd be picked on and stuff like that. Back in our days, he'd be unkosher, but now,
Anyway, Ollie Weeding, he's part of the Warneat Fishing Club, and he got a 1.8 kilo, 66 centimetre kingfish on a snapper snatcher with squidder's bait around Joe's Island. How good is that?
That's exciting.
That's good.
Kingfisher in the bay.
Yep, the start.
That is amazing. If you'd like to send in a pic of your catch of the week, this is what you have to do.
If you want to be like me and have your photo on TV, email your fishing pic to info@ironfish.com.au.
And next on Talking Fishing, fisheries news, including all the info on a big snapper talk night. Next on Talking Fishing.
Talking fishing.
We know what you'd rather be doing.
We know what you've really got in mind.
We know you'd rather be out fishing. And today's the day you're gonna wet a line. 'Cause every day's a good day.
Stop wishing.
Every day's a chance to drift away. Drift away.
Every day's a good day for fishing. See it down and tackle world today.
Talking fishing, nothing but fishing. We're talking fishing.
Live from the studios of Channel 31 Melbourne, it's now time for some very fishy news.
Plenty of news again this week. There's a lot happening this time of year, and it's just a fantastic time of year, boys. Let's kick it off with the Murray Codference, the 2017 Murray Codference. It is a big event, and I know it's a little bit away, but people need to whack it in their diaries right now.
Yep, absolutely.
Because reserve this day. Recreational anglers can learn about Victoria's Murray cod fisheries and how to improve their own fishing success at the second annual Codference in Shepparton on Sunday, the 10th of December. Fishing guru and TV personality Steve Starling will present the keynote address on the native fish revolution and reflect on his personal journey with the most iconic native fish, the Murray cod. So that's a talk in itself.
That's right. Yeah.
Worth noting, boys.
Yep.
And then it goes on to help anglers improve their there's something wrong with this, but anyway, I'll get to the end. To help anglers improve their own fishing skills and knowledge, Robbie Alexander will talk about the Ovens River. John Cahill will talk about cod culture. And this is the wrong bit. Mark Ainsworth about techniques to improve catch rates in rivers and lakes. If Mark Ainsworth gives one secret away, I'll go he. He has got to be the most sneakiest angler. And I'll tell you what, when you ask Mark Ainsworth where he caught a fish, he has a common answer. South of Queensland. Well, that's about all that Mark Ainsworth would ever give away. So I'm going to be there just for Mark's talk. If he's going to give away things about techniques and improving catch rates, I'll go he. Mark doesn't give away anything. Doesn't matter whether he's paid by fisheries or not. He will not give away one little tip.
And I'll have to frisk him for his 7-inch fillet knife.
Yeah. Mark Ainsworth going to talk about fishing. He doesn't tell anyone about anything he does. He's one of the best fishers I know. Anyway, it'll be good. I've got to keep going on with this one. They're yelling at me. In 2017, conference presentations will include flagship native fisheries and how we got there, record native fish stocking, how fishing licence fees contribute, native fish habitat, native fish population surveys across 10 rivers, and an update on the National Carp Control Plan. There you go. So you'll hear all about all that. The free Codference will be held at East Bank Conference Centre, 70 Wellsford Street in Shepparton from 9 a.m. until 4 p.m. on that Sunday. And if you want to reserve a seat, and you must reserve a seat because there's catering and all sorts for the event, go to vfa.vic.gov.au/Codference 2017, boys.
That's right.
That'd be a good one.
It's going to be a big event.
Party of trolleys after that.
Pencil it in.
Shop.
All three of us will be there, won't we? It's going to be a big weekend, I think. Not just a day, a weekend. Alrighty, there's been a bit of stocking, boys. Recent stocking of trout, and it's about to wind up. It's almost time to start putting the natives in, so the last of the trout are going in. There's a good list there. Eildon Pondage got 640 rainbow trout, including brood stock. Some of the big ones went in. Won't go through all these, but Carkrook Lake, 1,000 rainbows. Rowville Lakes, 200 rainbows. Morwell, 500 rainbows. Blue Rock got 1,575 brown trout.
Nice.
How good's that? Where's Lingamite Lake? I don't know where that is. 2,000 browns, 1,000 rainbows. Lake Epilock, 6,000 browns.
Yep.
But there was also 150,000 brown trout fry put into Lake Epilock.
Yeah.
Trout food.
Could be a brown trout fishery just coming on there in years to come.
Or a good pelican shoot. Or shags.
Shags.
Yeah, they don't even taste any good. But anyway, you got to stop them from getting that fry.
I know.
Yeah.
All right, big competition coming up, and you'd be mad not to enter this one. If you're not doing anything Melbourne Cup weekend, if you're not going away, get on to the Peninsula Snapper Challenge. Here's all the details. Saturday the 4th of November and Sunday the 5th of November. That is Melbourne Cup weekend. Please, you need to enter now so they know how many people. It is capped at 500 people. And there's some great prizes. $2,500 Tackle World gift voucher. A heap of Shimano gear. I've seen some of the Shimano gear as prizes, and it is classy and top notch. That's all I'll say. You can win a trip with Dermot Brereton out fishing. That would be unbelievable. And you know, 1 in 10 entrants will win a lucky draw prize.
That's pretty good.
It's pretty good odds.
Yeah, it is.
And then there's all the other winners, not just the lucky draw.
Yeah, then there's losers.
The presentation will be at Frankston Bombers Footy Club, only 15 minutes from Frankston, Hastings, Mornington and Patterson River ramps. For full details, go to peninsulasnapperchallenge.com and enter there. It's a great competition coming up, and you need to get on there, peninsulasnapperchallenge.com. Get onto it. Alrighty. The last of the kids fishing program, boys, is coming up this Sunday. Is that the 29th, this Sunday? It is, yes?
Correct.
Just trying to calculate that. It's in Maryborough, Lake Victoria, I think is the lake's name. It is in Victoria as well, in Maryborough. It's at 10 o'clock this Sunday in Maryborough. Get down there. The first 200 kids that get to the event will receive a free rod and reel presented by Rex Hunt.
I was going to say, big Rexy there for this
Rexy
one.
will be there.
Yep.
So
get your photo with Rex.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's been doing the rounds. That's his 6th in a row of the kids program, and it's just been a fantastic program. They've,
Good work, Rex.
Yeah. Introduced a lot of kids to fishing, giving them all rods and reels and all that sort of stuff. So that's all been really good. The next one, let's keep rolling them out, the Talk Wild Trout Conference, boys. Who's heading to Mansfield in a few weeks' time? Yeah, you boys are.
Yep.
It's on Saturday, the 11th of November, 2017. That's the Saturday after the Melbourne Cup weekend. It's on from 9 a.m. to 4:30. It's at the Mansfield Performing Arts Centre in Mansfield. Reserve your seat again, vfa.vic.gov.au/talk trout. If you register, it helps the seating and catering, and it includes lunch and refreshments, and it is a great event. One of the things that I learned, would that be the third? I think it's the third trout conference, I think.
Yep.
People may not know, but you know, there's a whole lot of science that goes on in both trout and cod fishing now. And the trout one, you know, they do acoustically tag some trout and have a look at where they go up and down the river.
Yeah.
This year, I think they're talking about a major project where they put fertilised eggs into a hatching box, if you like, in a river to see how that went compared to stocking fish.
Okay.
So we're going to hear all the outcomes of all this science.
So they didn't put the fertilised eggs in there to attract the males?
No, they were ready to go. They were ready to go. They were ready to hatch, and they should have turned into a whole lot of fry that, you know, I guess the theory is behind it that if a fish is born in the river, it'll be stronger, and that rather than a fish that's born in a pond, I think it's released into a high-flowing river.
That would be classed a wild fish, would it?
Well, as
it wouldn't be
close
fin
as you
clipped.
can be.
I was going to say, it wouldn't be
no,
fin
because it
clipped
didn't
or
have
anything.
fins at the time it was put in the
Yeah,
water.
that's it.
No.
Yeah, it could be egg clipped.
Never know.
Yeah.
Died.
Died?
As in
orange.
That's right.
Gets died, not just dead died.
I'm not sure they can do that to the eggs though. But the other thing is, so they also do a bit of electrofishing. So I think from memory, they do a count like per 100 metres. So it might be 8 fish per 100 metres is a poor river. 30 fish per 100 metres is a good river.
Yeah, but that's only a percentage of what's caught in the rivers to actually
it's
what's
not
in the
every
rivers,
fish.
like 40%.
But I think that's electrofish. So I think they. Oh, maybe
Not every fish will float though.
No.
We should
There's
try that
strong
with a
ones.
stun gun one.
I reckon even I
like
could. I reckon even I could
electrofishing,
catch
isn't
one. I reckon even I could catch one electro fishing.
Oh, I don't know about that. I've seen you on the net. So there you go. It's the Trout Conference. Get to that. What date was it? The week after the Melbourne Cup. 11th of November, 9 a.m. Get on to vfa.vic.gov.au. Talk trout if you want to come along to that one. Next Wednesday night, that's not tomorrow night, it's the following Wednesday night, Australia's biggest snapper talk night will be occurring down at Mornington Mazda on the Mornington Peninsula. Next Wednesday, the 1st of November. God, October's finished already.
Yeah.
1st November, Mornington Mazda showroom. Get there at 6:30 p.m. if you're coming along. It's $10 to get in, and you get pizza and soft drinks for that. The special guests coming along, let's kick it off, Dr. Paul Hamer. What Paul Hamer doesn't know about snapper isn't worth knowing.
Yep.
And he's going to talk about all his science on tracking, acoustically tracking snapper throughout the bay, in and out through the heads. He's going to talk about his little counts that he does each year to say, is it a good or a bad spawning season, all that sort of stuff. So it's a very, very rare opportunity to see Dr. Paul Hamer talk about snapper research, and there's going to be about 300 people in the room, so get your seat now.
Yeah, make sure you book for that one. That's
you can't actually get it now. I think we've probably got the slide again in a minute. I'll give you the phone number.
There it is.
But then, after Paul Hamer's spoken, we'll have John Soldatis, who is an absolute celebrity fishmonger, John. He'll be showing people how to fillet snapper and not waste
how to rig a soft plastic. I mean, fillet snapper.
Yeah, that's the one.
In 3 seconds.
And then Sean Ferdier and Steve Johnson. Sean from Think Big Fishing Charters, Steve Johnson from Ace Fishing Charters will join one of the boys from Tackle World in the fishing panel, and they're going to depart all their knowledge in time for the big Melbourne Cup weekend snapper competitions like the Peninsula Snapper Challenge. Come along to the talk night. There's the phone numbers there. Oh, they go off the screen. 5996 6500 or 5975 7500. Give those numbers a ring, either one of them, tomorrow from 8 a.m. or 9 a.m. Well, it depends which number you ring. Make it 9 a.m. Ring that number. Book into the snapper night. I'll be there. I'm emceeing the night. Adam, you'll be there talking product.
Yep.
It's going to be a big night. So there you go. Snapper talk night. Trelly, you had your big night down in Geelong.
Yes.
Last Friday night. How'd that go?
Yeah, pretty good. I sent you a couple of photos, so you probably saw those.
Trelly finished up last night.
Yeah,
we got home last night.
No, we had a good night. We had the guest speakers down there. We had Trevor Holmes and his mate Mick, and Aaron Hapgood, and Sam from MasterChef. So Sam Newms.
Trevor Holmes.
Yep.
Did he speak about Tolondo?
I actually didn't hang around for the speaker. I was actually inside.
That's how good he was.
Running the bar.
I was doing the rouseabout thing. I was all over the place, keeping people happy.
We're going to show, not tonight, but we will show in a couple of weeks' time. We're going to show a bit of a repeat of what happened in Tolondo a few years ago, because things have changed, and there is now water in there.
Yeah.
I think from memory it's about 30-40% or whatever.
And guaranteed to make it through summer.
Easy. Next couple if there wasn't any rain.
That's good.
So, but and it could probably do with a bit more, as in every lake could always do with a bit more. But it's certainly safe for a long time now. Full of fish, thriving. Yeah. Trevor would just be having a ball, and Stocky. Remember,
Stocky.
Jeff Stock on the couch before too. And anyway, we might replay a bit of Tolondo stuff next week and dedicate. Not next week. The week after.
Yeah.
Week after. But anyway, up next, product of the week. Stay tuned to see the Tranx right after this on Talking Fishing.
Talking Fishing.
Good morning, spotters. Stephanie speaking.
Hi, David Kramer here. If you love talking fishing, why not get your company involved? Just go to talkingfishing.com.au and click the link to help support the show. Get on board today.
Talking Fishing.
Product of the week, brought to you by Tackle World.
Talking Fishing.
Now, something just a little bit special for product of the week this week, because if we were to bring this up 3 years ago, no one would have cared, and I think it's a true testament to how we thrive on finding the next thing to make the job at hand just that little bit easier, because we're looking at the Shimano Tranx tonight, which, again, like I said, it just wasn't relevant a few years ago, but with the big swim bait phenomenon going on, we've been through the bay jigging and micro jigging phenomenon. These reels just scream power and have become now one of the hottest products on the shelves because of the way we like to go about things. I'll start with the little 300. Now, I say a little 300 because it is still one of the biggest bait casters I've seen. but like I said, is now more relevant than ever. And Charlie, I'm going to call on you for this because this is something that would have taken your store, particularly the Shepparton store, by storm, as these big swim baits for Murray cod have become insane. We're now fishing 6.5 to 8.5 foot rods.
Yep.
And in order to make that rod work and balance it out perfectly, you need a big bait caster, and this is where the Shimano Tranx comes into play.
Yeah, you're right, actually, Ads, because this reel, even though, looking from the top there, it's reasonably small profile, it's got a weight to it that actually adds to your big swim bait rods and things. So you might think that you've got a big rod and you like to keep to a small reel, which is fine, but the actual weight aids in your pivot point. So when you cast, try and get the reel in your hand and pivot point it from that reel, which makes it a nice rig, a balanced rig, casting some of these lures which are up to 6 and 7 ounces. So yes, very good. As you know, so you've got a double handle on these ones,
and it's an oversized double handle. The thing I've always found with bait casters is they can be very awkward to wind with that tiny handle. You feel as though you're cramped. You feel as though you're not getting anywhere when you're trying to wind in a fish or retrieve your lure. But that big handle, big power handle, gives you something to hold on to and really get line back on the reel quickly.
That's right. And left hand, love left hand.
Yeah, me
Just
too.
love it.
Now a few
I
key
couldn't fish
features.
with that. The handle's on the wrong side. I couldn't fish with that.
Oh, you can't? Really?
He's weird.
Yeah,
I have to cast with the right hand and then swap over and reel.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Pick your nose with the left hand or right hand?
Right.
Right hand, see, that's the problem.
The other thing that Tranx now comes with, which is a little bit unusual for a Shimano bait caster, this reel pulls 10 kilos of drag. Now that is huge.
That is.
Because a very small compact reel, though it's big for a bait caster, it's still not a huge reel, but 10 kilos is massive.
Yep.
So all the stopping power you need, and in a day and age where it's all about finding something as light as humanly possible, it's a little bit of a breath of fresh air to see something like this, because when you are dealing with such a long, heavy rods, in able to balance that out to give you maximum performance, it does need a little bit of weight in the back end.
Exactly.
And that's where this reel comes to play. So that's the 300 size. They do make it in a right and a left hand. All the bells and whistles, which we've talked about in Shimano technology-wise over the last couple of years. So Hagani gearing, they've changed the way they make the main gears, so smaller teeth for more performance and more power. As I said, 10 kilos of drag. The gear ratio on this is 5.8 to 1, so perfect for our natives, where you can really slow down your retrieve and get the lures moving really slow on those shutdown bites, but plenty of power and plenty of line back on the reel when you need to gain line to wind the fish in.
That's right.
You've managed to pull that one apart in 30 seconds, and there's your cast control.
And your cast control is typical 6-point cast control.
What do you do with them?
Have those. We can actually, when they come as a factory setting, and mind you, when I say that as a factory setting, you've got your 6 little pieces here which actually click in or out. Now you notice, well, it's pretty hard to see there, but you've got 3 in and 3 out on opposite sides. Every now and again you might get one that turns up that's not quite right, and when you cast you think, oh, there's a good reel, Tom, it's a good reel, but it's not actually performing that well. Always check and make sure that your little plastics here are actually set 3-3-3.
And what do they do, Trelly? What do those little things do?
The little centrifugal force of those forces those out, which gives you a different resistance on your spool. So if you're using bigger lures, you can actually work all of them in if you really want to, or all of them really out, which will really free the reel up. All reel out, you will rely on a lot of thumb control, so that's pretty suicidal if you're not used to it. So 3 in on opposite sides there works a treat.
There you go.
There are 2 more sizes in the range. Dave, I want you to grab that one. So the 300 size, which we just looked at, also comes as an option with one big single power handle. So I don't know, it's a little bit hard to see, but rather than the double handle, which we're used to looking at, it's got the big power handle on it. Probably aimed more at the saltwater light jigging market. Trelly, very quickly, would you find a situation maybe with a really big heavy swim bait where you'd use the single power handle? I don't see it as a comfortable thing, to be honest, when you're trying to retrieve a lure like in a flat sort of a manner. It is more of a jigging handle, but do you find you move through a few of them?
No, definitely the double handle one and a slower retrieve for freshwater.
So Dave, you've got the 400
This is the 400. I've actually got the 500 at home.
Yeah, which is
for
huge.
Kingfish.
Yeah.
And it is fantastic. So, but you know, as soon as I started reeling this, I've gone, this has got Hagani gears.
Yeah.
Because it's super smooth.
Yep. That's right.
That is incredibly smooth. And
so a little bit less drag on the 2 bigger models. Now that's due to a higher retrieve rate, which again designed at the jigging market. So rather than 10 kilos, they've got an 8 kilo max drag. And we're going to see this a bit over the next couple of months in our market as the snappers start to heat up. A lot of the bait guys will go and smash the hell out of fish over the next month and a half, 6 weeks, and then switch over to start trying to catch them on lures. And that's where we see these single handle Tranx reels come into it. The 400, you could comfortably run a 50-pound braid on that and still get capacity. It is, like I said, like the Trout, very compact, but still a big reel. But great as a small jigging reel for snapper and the likes. If you were to hook a small kingy on it, hold on, because it'll be loads of fun. But more at the light jigging application. Great reels. It's really cool as a tackle junkie to talk about this stuff, because like I said, 3 years ago they weren't relevant. They were too big, they were too heavy, and we had no idea what to do with them. But as we've evolved, the fisheries evolved. We're getting better as anglers. We're learning more about the gear and having more respect for the gear. Before I wind it up, Dave?
I have a technical question for you, Ads, and I think I'd like you to tell me, and if you can't, I'd like someone at home to tell me, or someone from Shimano to tell me. These must be in a class of their own, because the reason I say that is that bait casters traditionally are called by a name that starts with C, like Corrado, or Cronarch, or Sitica. These start with the letter T, like Trinidad, Torsa, Tiagra, TLD.
Or Tranny.
Or Tranx. Are these in a different class to a normal bait caster, because they start with the letter T?
I could be wrong, but my money would be on, this is actually an American designed reel. Where most
they can't say C?
Well, the Americans have got to do something different. I'd almost put money on, if this was developed for the Japanese market, or for a completely different market than bass, I bet you it would start with C.
I'm waiting for the answer.
Actually, you know what?
I reckon you're making that up.
I am making that up, because do you know how I've just debunked my... We've seen some JDM bait casts, which we've already talked about, direct out of the Japanese market, both start with S.
I know. I want to know why they start with T. Anyway,
they ran out of cool names to start with C.
The Yellow Getter Ads. Up next, Kramer's Mailbag. Get another boat ramp design gone wrong. Right after this on Talking Fishing.
Talking Fishing.
Make mine a Mornington.
G'day, David Kramer here. I'm a massive fan of the Mazda BT50, having personally driven and owned one for more than 5 years now. And to tell you what, you can't beat them for an all-round great ute and a great tow vehicle. Get into Mornington Mazda before the end of the month and grab yourself a run-out bargain. I made mine a Mornington Mazda.
Make mine a Mornington Mazda.
Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing.
And a little bit of mailbag this week, I can tell you. Let's kick it off. We've been talking about boat ramps, and unfortunately, the boat ramp problems just don't go away. And people say to us, oh, you just keep raving on about boat ramps, but what do? People write to us, boys.
Got to put it up there.
And they go, there's problems with boat ramps.
Giving the people what they want.
Let's head back down to Tutgaruk, because the boys have taken it in their own hands, and they've got the shovels out. Here they go. This is from last weekend. And they're determined to have that cleared by March. No. Tommy said they're working hard day and night. They're going to have that boat ramp cleared by March, and then they're going to start on the dredging. They're going to need snorkels, goggles.
Wow.
That's an absolute disgrace. The committee of management down there at Tutgaruk, not going to open that till November, even though people have paid for a full season's pass.
Good on them, but look at it out there with their shovels doing it.
Out there with shovels. Well, actually, the bloke in the foreground, or the background, let's have a look at this again. No, not that one, boys. The other one. Yeah, so the bloke in the red shirt, I reckon he works, or he used to work for the council, because he's just standing there with his arms. He is supervising. The only thing he's missing is a stop and go sign, just to stop people launching their boats there, because it could get busy, like while the other bloke's shoveling. I reckon that bloke in the red used to work for the council. So anyway, there you go. This one is from another boat ramp. Don writes in, old Don. He writes in, hi David. Here are some photos, and I'm only going to show one, of the new Bem River boat ramp that cost around $500,000. Half of $1 million, boys.
A lot of money.
The photo is my boat on the trailer with the end of the concrete ramp midway between the tandem wheels, i.e. the front trailer wheel is on the concrete and the rear wheel is on some rocks. Now the rocks were put in because there was a drop off at the end of the concrete ramp and trailers were getting stuck when the water level dropped because the entrance was opened a few weeks ago. So what they did is they built the ramp when the entrance was closed.
Yeah.
The water level was a bit higher,
Yep.
you see. But then, like estuaries like that, they open.
Yep.
And a bit of water drains out and the ramp didn't quite get wet enough. So people were backing down and their trailers were popping off the end.
Falling off the end.
So they've put a whole lot of rocks. And the rocks in here, it says 6 inch or 150 millimetres in size. And they put the rocks at the end of the ramp.
Good idea.
Yeah, but they made it level.
Oh.
So it doesn't matter if Don backs his trailer in 30 metres.
Same level.
It never gets any deeper than that.
Really?
Because they didn't put a gradient to the rocks.
Who
they
does
made them
this?
level.
Who are these people that put this,
And do you know what's interesting?
Well, it says here the contractors are blaming the council and the council are blaming the contractors.
Of course.
And you know what?
But-
it's not like BEM is one of those places which opened for the first time in 35 years. It opens and shuts regularly.
Yeah.
And has done for a long, long time.
And the contractor did main roads, so we just go and do a flat anyway.
Yes.
Yeah. $500,000 and you wonder why we've got
Well
problems
spent.
with our
Good
pockets.
on you, well spent.
I'll tell you what. Anyway,
Indolent pensions coming up. Well, money well spent.
we've got to change some things, I tell you. This one, this is from Jono. And Jono writes, "Hi boys, love the show and Channel 31." He loves Channel 31.
Nice.
A lot of love going on. "Could you please only use the words going off when you have more than one or two reports? E.g., now this might have been written a week ago, Lysarts last week. On Tuesday, we fished dawn, morning and afternoon tide changes with no fish on the sounder, no fish in the boat. We saw no one catching any reds. Used freshly caught local bait that day, and even the fantastic water police said they didn't see anyone with fish. Heaps of boats in the one area does not mean heaps of fish or going off."
Should have been
boys.
the day before.
It was a very
fishing.
quiet day, and it is an understatement. Thanks and cheers, mad keen fisherman Jono from Hurstbridge. Well, Jono, it did go off. It went off the day before, didn't it? That's right.
That report came from
because
Nickers.
all our production goes to, old mate Kev,
Yeah.
on a Monday.
Yep.
So if it doesn't go off Tuesday, well, it doesn't go until next week. So I'm telling you, Lysarts was going off, and
It's going to be pretty funny if Lysarts is in hotspots.
Again,
I don't think
it's going off down there. No, we will. We'll try and keep that under
trying
control.
to
won't we?
refrain from saying going off.
We won't take the report from Nickers
I'd
anymore.
like to know, just to change the
Going off,
subject,
Nickers.
actually, I should say this. If you'd like to write into Kramer's mailbag, this is what you do.
Send your mail to Kramer's Mailbag, PO Box 734, Patterson Lakes, Victoria 3197, or email kramer@ifish.com.au.
All right, so I just want to open up some discussion, right? No, it's got nothing to do with going off.
All right.
But if you wanted a waterway opened up, something that's closed, or if you wanted a waterway that's currently you can't fish, but you look over it and you go, oh, that's a beautiful bit of water. I'd like to fish there, but there's no fish there. And I'd like to put it to the people at home now. Get onto our Facebook page, Talking Fishing, and just tell us about your idea. Do you have an idea about a waterway that could be opened up? And a classic, I guess, example was Devil Bend Reservoir many, many years ago.
Still is.
Where, well, still needs to be opened up
It's not
because
open at the moment. I don't care what
someone
anyone
had a half-assed go at letting kayaks on. And
There's a corner of it that's open.
yeah. In fact, I forgot to read that one out. I didn't I? That was a bit of breaking news, actually, I meant to read out. The Sea Eagle Society has been given access to the kayak area of Devil Bend now.
For what reason?
Well, they want to fish there. So they're allowed,
want
the
to
Sea
fish
Eagles. The Sea Eagles are now allowed in the kayak area of Devil Bend.
Oh, of course.
Because the powers to be, they have opened up a section of Devil Bend, a little bit more than 3% of it, I think. Not too much more.
3%.
3% of Devil Bend you're allowed to paddle your kayak on.
Yeah.
You're not allowed on the rest of it because of the ducks. right? Because the ducks have access to the rest.
So the seagulls
but now the
don't-
sea eagles.
Seagulls like ducks, don't
They
they?
don't have a
No,
problem
this
with-
is a
They
this is
do,
hot
they
off the
love
press,
ducks.
boys. Look, seriously, hot off the press. It says the Sea Eagle Society. So sea eagles, all the sea eagles got together that live there.
They're an organised group, so I've heard.
Yeah.
They are political heavyweights, boys, and they now have access to the kayak fishing area. So
Wow.
shared area. That kayak 3% that
Good on them.
was fought hard by the people that fight hard for things to get a few percent of access to Devil Bend. How ridiculous! But anyway, what I'm saying is, have you got a bit of an idea of like ads? You got off the top of your head anywhere that you
The rest of Devil Bend,
Good point.
because that is money, that fishery.
Yeah, well.
Well, not that we know, because we're
No,
not
it
allowed
could
to fish
attract
it. But
a lot.
don't get me started.
No, go on,
But I think I'd like to hear from the people at home. Like,
That's a kick in the bag.
Trelly, is there lakes up your way that you'd like trout cod to be available? Go fishing for trout cod or something like that.
Yeah.
So, let's talk about. I mean, there's an election coming up next year,
That's right.
and I'd like to hear people's ideas about what waterways could be improved for fishing. It could be opening up one that's fenced off right now. It could be stocking something different. We want to hear from the people at home on our Facebook page, Talking Fishing. Anything up your way, Trelly?
Well, it's sort of closed season for the cod and bits, but I did think of one which is one that gets really overlooked, and it's a really big dam, and that's the Thompson Dam.
Well, yeah.
Top of the, I know it's
down
catchment water
off
for
Mount Bauble, I think.
Yeah, so it's catchment water for the city of
Imagine
Melbourne.
if that got opened
It
up
is
for
a
fishing.
huge reservoir of water. And I know there's heaps of deer in there and bits and pieces. And I mean, we don't want people going along like Trevor Holmes wrote on his Facebook page today. Someone took a dump, next to the boat ramp in view, so everyone can see
I
it.
wasn't
But
going to mention it.
50 yards from the toilet block. We know that sort of SO's happening. But Thompson Dam is a huge dam. It's up in the hills there. It's basically locked off with no access at all. So
What
it'd
a
be
great idea.
amazing
So
to be there.
people at home, please give us your ideas. We'd like to hear from you. What waterways would you like opened up or changed or, that sort of thing. So anyway, get it on our social media pages. Coming up next, this week's Hotspots. We'll be back shortly on Talking Fishing.
License.
Talking fishing.
G'day, Callan here from Paul Worsling's Tackle World Cranbourne.
Supercharged batteries have been supplying maintenance-free marine batteries since 2001. The Seamaster Gold range is second to none, delivering superior starting power and reserve capacity. No need to top up with water, truly a fit and forget battery. With up to 2 years replacement warranty, you know you have quality. Your battery is your lifeline. Without it, you're dead in the water because it's bloody hard to push start.
I've got a Seamaster battery in my boat.
Make yours a Seamaster Gold today.
Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing.
And now the segment you've all been waiting for.
Hotspots, brought to you by Seamaster Batteries. Make yours a Seamaster Gold today.
And just before we get into Hotspots, boys, remind me to tell you there's a big show coming up. On Catch and Cook tonight. We're going to preview Catch and Cook after the Hotspots, all right?
Okay, yeah.
Some exciting stuff happening on that show tonight.
Same as last week. Week before.
That's hard.
Imagine what they say about this show.
Imagine people can hear us during the ad breaks. Let's get on to the Hotspots. The first one, it's all about the snapper. Port Phillip Bay, eastern side, there's a town called Aspendale. If you head out to 16 metres off Aspendale, it is absolutely on fire. In fact,
No, don't say it,
I'm
Dave.
going to say it.
No, don't say it.
It's going off.
Going off.
It is.
No, going off.
Off at Aspendale.
Aspendale, 16 metres, it's going
Get out
off.
there
That is
yesterday.
it's the place to be. Just the humble pilchard would do the job.
Dangled a pilchard.
Yep, no, it is going off. And a little bit further down the road, look, people can understand it's nearly Melbourne Cup weekend, and that's, it's about to really fire up.
Yep.
The water temperature's risen up, and Mornington, I've got to say it again, it's going off.
Dave.
Mornington is about to go off with snapper, this time in 19 metres of water off Mornington.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And if it's blowing too hard to get the boat out to 19 metres of water, set up camp on that pier, because it just loves anything with north or west in it. Absolutely loves it.
Okay.
And there will be some big snapper caught off that pier in the next couple of weeks.
Obviously, more people have cottoned on to the land-based fishery that is along Mornington and Mount Martha.
Yep.
Are we about to see the biggest season ever, do you think, in land-based?
I'd hate to say it, but it depends on the wind.
Yeah.
If it's blowing an absolute gale, which not for a second am I praying for, because it kills the mood of the actual snapper season.
Yeah.
But if it doesn't blow, you won't get many reports. It is just one of those things that they really love that rough, turbulent water. They'll come right in close, and if that happens, we will see insane amounts of snapper reports. But if it doesn't, it's just one of those things. I wish I could tell you why, but if it's flat, you just won't catch them.
Yeah. Let's head over to Westernport now, and so many people have been coming into the shops in the last couple of days just raving about Warneet and how good the snapper fishing is just out of Warneet. You don't have to go far. Just head out the entrance and turn right. You got a little bit of deep water not too far from the entrance, and there is snapper galore. I'll go a little bit short of going off, but snapper galore up there. And of course, we saw a couple of kingfish in the last few days come from that area. Now, kingfish don't travel alone.
No, that's
they travel in schools, and you've got every chance. And if you see a bust up on the surface or something, please go over, have a look, because it's every chance there's a school of kingies working that top end of Westernport out of Warneet. And of course, I'm not even going to mention the whiting, but the whiting fishing is, I can't mention it. You don't want people to know about it. Let's head down to another part of the port, and I know someone who filmed. I don't want to give away their name, but they filmed an episode of iFish there last week off Flinders, and Paul reported that the amount of big calamari while he was there on the day was just incredible.
That's awesome.
It's a big episode. It'll be coming up on iFish either late this year or early into next season, but Paul fished just off the jetty and caught some phenomenal size. Is that a word? Phenomenal. I have trouble with that.
I was going to roll with it.
Size calamari off Flinders. Now is the time to get down to Flinders if you can, particularly if you've got a northerly or a bit of western. It's quite calm. High tide's the best time. Get down to calamari. Silver whiting under a float is the best method. Let's head out to the west of the state, and if you love your trout fishing, there's a little lake there that has just returned to all its glory. Wilco sent us a photo during the week, and sorry we can't put up Wilco because it was such low resolution. You need to give us the high res ones when you send it in. But Lake Bolac is absolutely on fire for big barrel rainbow trout.
Two things. Wilco, g'day legend, because you are a legend when it comes to this sort of stuff, and it's been too long, so good form, Wilco. And two, Lake Bolac is the home of rainbow trout.
It is.
I don't care what anyone says. It is the home of big rainbow trout.
Remember we said it was supposed to be Colac and he went to Bolac?
All those people went to Colac, didn't they?
This one's close.
Yeah.
Lake Bolac.
Bolac's the one. And the other one, boys, that I heard a little whisper, and I know the people that go up there probably won't like this, but the Kabungra River at Anglers Rest.
Shouldn't mention it.
We shouldn't mention it. There is some magnificent brown trout being caught there at the moment.
So we won't mention it's going off?
We won't mention it, but up the Omeo Highway, I know it's a bit of a trek up there, but if you can get up to the Kabungra River at Anglers Rest, there is just some pristine models of brown trout. That river is just flowing, absolutely beautiful this time of year, and early season fly fishing, there's hatches, there's all sorts.
Fly fishing doesn't really get a big mention on the show, does it? Because but this time of year it should be like really, really happening. You know, that the big bunch of moths that sort of go down the creek and then one will drop on the water, and you know the trout will come up and sort of porpoise.
That's exactly why there's not much fly fishing on this show. That's how we try.
And then one of these little bugs will sort of venture over the bank, and you find yourself, you know, going down the bank like this trying to catch him, and then you're trying to match him up with something in your box, and you know, that'll do, you know, and you go back and slap the water with it. It's good fun.
And you might catch one.
You might catch one, But
that's the thrill of it, though, matching the hatch and doing all that sort of stuff. And there's no better place than the Kabungra River up near Anglers Rest. There you go. There's our hotspots for the week, and a couple of them are going off.
Nice.
So,
couple of honourable mentions for hotspots this week. Because...
well, there's more than 6.
There's so much going on, but there was a thresher shark caught in Port Phillip Bay in shallow water on one of the charter boats last week.
He went off.
That would have gone right off. That is really, really cool. We do see it most years, but it's just one of those things. They're just an unbelievable looking animal and really cool when that happens. And
when
an
you
interesting
don't
one
flush the toilet, your missus goes off.
Because we talk about it a bit on this show because we absolutely love the place.
Sorry.
There is some nice flatties starting to turn up at Lake Tyers.
Oh, yeah.
I spoke to Big Benny Ramsey today, and he sent me a photo which just didn't make tonight's show. They were up there on the weekend, flatties to 80 centimetres.
Ooh,
And there
nice.
was a few caught bigger than that by another group of anglers that were up there, Benny was saying. But it is right on the cusp.
Yeah.
Where you'll start seeing meter flatties in catch of the week every week.
Yeah.
It's
It
right
is.
there.
It's a beautiful place. Funny thing is, I had someone mention it to me today. They said, "Oh, I've just sent you in a photo." They came into the shop. I said, "Just sent you in a photo for catch of the week tonight." And and I said, "Well, it won't make tonight." He goes, "But it's a live show." Well, you know, the production that we put in behind the scenes.
Kev's a bit slow.
Kev cracks the sads if you put it in here later. He
Kev
goes right off.
Yeah, he does. So, you know, Monday night's the deadline. Got to get all that to production. Even though we are live right now, all that stuff goes to production. So please don't send us on a Tuesday morning catch of the week, because it just isn't going to make it to that night's show. So there you go, boys. But you're right, lake tyres.
It's right there. They got some good brim too, so they're still up and about. But the big flatties are starting to move up onto the shallow banks.
Better off going there than Ben River, because at least you can launch
At least you can get the boat in.
Lake tyres. So there you go. That's it for Talking Fishing. We hope you enjoyed the show. Next week, we'll prelude what is always a big weekend of fishing, the Melbourne Cup weekend, and please join the Snapper Challenge. We'll also be joined in the studio, I think, because he didn't get back to me, but we hope, the Marine Safety Officer that we've had on before, Marty O'Connell, is going to talk all things boating safety next week. Until we see you again next Tuesday on Talking Fishing, please stay safe on the water and enjoy your fishing.
Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing. We got all you need, just take a look. Watch those fish jump on your hook. So just relax and take your time. Enjoy the show, then drop us a line. Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing. Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing. Talking fishing.
Have a good weekend, Mr. Walker.
You too, son.